Hey, I'm Melanie Johnson along with my co-host Jen Foster. We are both 13-time best-selling authors. We've published over 2,500 books and made all of our authors #1 bestsellers. We own Elite Online Publishing. If you want to become a best-selling author, look us up at eliteonlinepublishing.com. Now, welcome to the podcast that shares secrets from top industry experts that show you how to get lasting success and results. This is the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson for another super duper podcast today. I'm here with Jen Foster, my business partner at Elite Online Publishing. Jen?
Hey everyone, so glad to be here.
We are, man. We have another terrific show for you. But first, remember to subscribe to our podcast and leave us some messages. We love to hear from you and share it. Please share it with other people because we have great guests like on today. Many of you may have questions about PR. I know I'm going to date this podcast, but we are in the middle of the lockdown of the Corona-19 virus. So questions about, do we still promote our company? Should we be moving forward? Should we be sitting on our hands and doing nothing? Should we spend money? Should we not spend money on PR and advertising? So all of these questions are pertinent. And on top of that, my dear friend, Karen Henry, has been running a hugely successful PR company in Houston for years. And I want to know, how does she do it? How has she kept her company so successful during all the transitions? 2008, the financial crisis, the hurricane here in Houston. So Karen, welcome. Thanks so much for coming to the show today.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be with y'all. Hi, Jen.
Yeah.
Hi, Melanie.
Well, tell us a little bit how you got started in PR and how you started your business.
Well, good question. When I got out of college, the first job I had was in advertising. And PR was kind of part of advertising back then, but it wasn't the biggest part of advertising. So let's fast forward about 30 years. I hate to date myself. And I started with a small PR firm in Houston. I was in my 40s. And it was mainly restaurants and hospitality. So that started like in the mid 90s. And then after that, I just had my last child. I kind of worked from home. And then starting in the early 2000s, I started my own PR firm and I've diversified into different industries. And then in 2004, I met this wonderful younger PR person and we started the PR boutique. And from then on, we have grown and grown. We have offices in Austin, San Antonio, and in Houston now.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So how do you think, you said you diversified in your business. Do you think that that was one of the things that has kept you going? And should other businesses think about how they can diversify in their business to stay successful?
Yes, absolutely. I feel bad for some of my PR friends, and I have several of them that only deal in hospitality right now. So you can only imagine what their cash flow is and what their business model has done to them. We're lucky enough to where we have several nonprofit clients. We have some authors, thanks to you. And we also have just a few restaurants, real estate companies, and some retail. And some online businesses and some fitness businesses. So it's made it kind of a point so that we can concentrate and concentrate on different industries and cross-promote with our clients.
That's great. So I think in this time of world, you do have to diversify. If you don't have more than one, type of client,
right.
It's a little crazy right now.
And speaking of this time, it is very important to have public relations right now.
Yeah.
Journalists are hungry for stories.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the restaurant business has been really crazy. And so we've had to adapt and start, actually advising our clients on what to do, our restaurant clients on how to manage during this crisis. And it's interesting that they're doing curbside because the Friday before we got shut down or we got the stay-at-home order, we told our clients they need to start really thinking about curbside and delivery because we knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And it's been really, I can't say it's wildly successful for what it is. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're having a hard time with their staff, but it's every day we get asks from journalists. What are your clients doing today? What are the recipes they're doing? Are they doing anything unique for Easter? What do they do are they doing cocktails to go and wine to go? So we're very busy with those clients right now.
Well, and I think you kind of touched on a point there. I think, in every business, not just restaurant business, we have all of these things that people tell us to do, or things that we should do for the future, or, new technology comes out, or, oh yeah, we should do curbside, we should do, Uber Eats or whatever, like have all these things. But then you say, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. And then something like this happens and you're not ready. So taking that action, your restaurant clients are the restaurants out there that already were using Uber Eats, that already were set up for curbside, that already had, you can drive up and wait for your order to come out, where you order online and come go pick it up. All of those restaurants have such a jump start on this because they were ready to go. They didn't have to worry about, oh, we have to implement this. Oh, we need an app. Oh, we need to tell this on our website. All those kind of things. They were ready. So I think that's just an example for all of us. When we're looking to do something, when we're being told we have to do it, to take action now, right?
Right, and this is a good example. I'm going to give you an example of something that recently happened. That's a great PR story.
Okay.
So you'll understand. PR is more organic. It's third-party endorsements. As a PR firm, we look to place journalists in information in the hands of journalists so they can print it, whether it's digital, print, broadcast, anything online, whatever, you get your source of information from. So we create the stories for them. A lot of times they reach out because they know us after all these years. They reach out to us too, but it's different from marketing and advertising, because you pay for that place in marketing and advertising. We like to mix them together because we do some marketing as well. But most of our marketing now is done through online digital stuff, like with Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and some Twitter. But those are the digital ads that we do for our clients now. But back to what I wanted to tell you is this great PR story. An unfortunate incident happened last Sunday night with one of our restaurant clients. He was broken into. He doesn't keep money in his safe normally because everything's credit cards now. Well, a lot of his his curbside business was cash. So he had quite a bit of cash in his safe. And somebody broke in, stole all the cash. And that was money he was going to give to his employees who were not making any tips right now. That was a horrible thing. Well, the same day, the next morning we heard about this. The same day, our real estate client reached out to us and said, I'm still fortunate. I'm still being able to sell homes because we're doing virtual tours and stuff like that. Interest rates are so low. We want to give back to the first responders, meaning the nurses and the doctors at the hospitals. What can we do? And we went, well, you do two things. You can order pizza and have it delivered, or you could do something really more interesting and that will help another client that's in bad shape. So it took us from Monday to Thursday, but yesterday our client, the real estate client, picked up over 100 sandwiches from our client that got and took them to the hospital. So they've been on broadcast, they've been on all the print media is picking it up. So that's a great story. It was a PR help. And it wasn't just it wasn't an accident. We kind of that robbery was the accident, but the creating the story was part of something that we did as a PR team.
Yeah, you created a really good, you created a story from something bad that happened that you turned into something good. You created the idea, but then instead of it just sitting there, you let the world know about it. And it was a story of hope that we really need right now too, is having us uplifted. How do you position, like this was a great circumstance for this client, but what are you telling them PR wise? What can we do now? And then what can we do to start looking ahead when this is over? What kind of plans are you helping them make to position themselves in the marketplace?
Well, that's a great story because everything is just kind of from minute to minute with COVID-19. But what we're doing right now is creating blog posts for them, giving them like a heads up, like, okay, you got to start thinking about what's going to happen in May. What are you going to be doing? Or maybe we just give them ideas on what to do. One of our clients is that, our real estate client is a good example. So what we're doing right now is talking to her about, let's make her an expert in what do you do now that rates are so low? How is it going to help you buy a home? So we positioned her as the expert. She got on some podcasts. She was in definitely interviewed by the Houston Chronicle real estate reporters. And then with our restaurant clients, it's hard to think too far ahead with them because some of them, unfortunately, don't even know if they're going to be open anymore. But what we're doing for them is coming up with ideas, what to do for Easter, what to do at the end of the month. And I hope this is answering your question, but one of them is a seafood restaurant, and he wanted to do some kind of crawfish boil, like a drive-through crawfish boil. So we said, why don't you do something more unique than that and make it like an old-fashioned car hop? People can come in, you give them a bucket, let them fill it up twice. Then you can also give them some cocktails, and the car hops will be the wait staff so they can get tips. So we're trying to work that out, see if that'll work. Some of our commercial real estate clients are definitely kind of laying low right now because the only thing they can do right now is honor their vendors, honor their tenants in their office buildings and their retail spaces. And so we're mainly working with them on social media. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what you're saying too is so innovative. Like you have to be innovative all the time, not just in a time of crisis or pandemic, but you always have to be innovative and think about those different ways you can do things.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, as a PR firm, if you work with a PR firm, they will create your press kit, which is all the information anybody needs to know about you as a company, all the information you want people to know. And then, so when there's a crisis, or if there is a problem, you've got all those tools with you right there in your toolkit that has images, bios, fact sheets, press releases, anything they do that's involved in the community. We keep all that as our toolbox so that if something happens, we've got it, so we don't have to go back and start over again. We're already ready with it. And then we create a pitch that might be pertinent to what's going on or proactive. And then we have that toolkit with us to give to the media.
I love that. And that's one of the questions I was going to ask you is like, why do we need a PR firm? And that whole segment right there is you're positioning them, you're creating this whole toolbox for them that can go out immediately. Is it hard to constantly be coming up with ideas to pitch someone to media about a company? I mean, today everything's moving so fast, but in a normal environment, is it tough to like keep spinning the story or coming up with something new? Because they may say, well, I did PR for 6 months. I don't need it anymore. We're business. Why, and I think PR is really important. And I love what you said, that you position that real estate person as an expert, right? Because that's what we do with books. We position you as an expert in the marketplace. And so that's what you're making people experts, positioning them as experts so media picks them up. But I guess it goes back to the question is, I think you should have a PR person ongoing all the time and have them ready, willing, and able to make sure you do that. But kind of address that. Why should I have a PR person? How long should I keep them? And why should I have one all the time?
Okay, great question. Why? I think most people should have a PR person, but a lot of people don't want to spend the money. But in the end, it's a lot less expensive than buying big ads and publications that cost, upwards of $5,000 for a one-time print ad. Whereas for a lot less than that, you can have a PR firm that's constantly advising you every month on what the trends are. That's one thing that we monitor all the time, are trends. And say maybe there's a news story, a national news story that can relate to something that's going on in Houston. And that's where, when you said position them as an expert, that's where we keep our clients as thought leaders, and then position them like, okay, there's something going on in, I could use the same example as I did before about the interest rates going low. But things like that are happening all the time. So we know our clients, what they do, what their expertise is in. So we think about it all the time, like, oh my God, that's going on. We need to get ahead of the story and talk to so-and-so journalist and position our particular client for that, to be the person that they go to locally for that information. But to answer your other question about why should you have a PR firm, it's for that reason. And a lot of times new businesses definitely need one. Like, for example, you're going to create an office building, maybe an office building that is specific to medical profession. Let's just say that's one. That's kind of a new trend, is doctors that have medical and surgical in the same building. And there are some developers out there that know that, and they're building buildings that have the office space for the doctors, but then they go down to the second floor or the fourth floor, whatever, and have a surgical center. That is kind of an innovative idea. So our job would be to tell that story and why it's happening. And we work with the client before they even break ground on the building to get the information all together. So, and then we know, okay, they need to reach out to particular physicians. We give, because of our press kit, toolkit, we can give them all the information for their marketing materials. So they have all that messaging down. They have all the fact sheets that they need to give to their client, their potential tenants. That's one example. And then throughout the course of their leasing up the whole building, they need PR to talk about their 25% leased. They have they've hired this particular decorator to do the lobby. That's another story. It's all about keeping their name, their brand top of mind with the media, which is ultimately the public and their target market. But then along with all that, with the new world the way it is and everything moving so fast, and this is something I had to deal with about 10 or 15 years ago, maybe it was 12 years ago, when social media became such a big deal. I remember somebody telling me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, that was way before Instagram. And I went, I am not going to do that. That is just too much for me to comprehend. I mean, I'm to writing a press release, typing it up, printing it out, mailing it to the journalist, calling them on the phone. And then it got to typing it up, printing it out, and faxing it and calling them on the phone. And then making actual physical appointments to go talk to the journalist and tell them about all my clients. And now we don't even have to leave our office.
Right.
So this at-home world is not that bad for us. It's better to meet people in person, but everything is like print. I mean, we don't even print anything out. It's type up, put it in a little file, email it to the client, or send it in a link to the journalist with everything right there for them. There's almost no excuse not to write the story.
So how do you feel like getting to like influencers now? I mean, because it's not just TV, radio, newspaper, and magazines. It's changed dramatically. I mean, do you try, depending on the client, do you try and hit the influencers? And how do you go about getting bloggers and influencers to help?
Well, that's a great question, because that is as important now as media. You know, that's why the younger generation has been so beneficial to my business. They are constantly looking at who's talking about what on social media. And so they know which bloggers fit a particular client, quote unquote, customer base or target market. So we actually physically and call and reach out and talk to these influencers. And it could be the woman that does the weather on our local network. She's a huge influencer. She also has a huge social media following, and she loves restaurants. She also has another one has a huge social media following, and she loves makeup and fashion and working out. So we reach out to those different people and we give them, sometimes you have to give them something for free, which is not a bad, or they actually want to be paid.
Yeah.
And so that happens sometime too. So just know which one, each particular industry that we're working in. And then there's the real professional businesses that we work with that would not really be good for an influencer, but they would be great on LinkedIn.
Right.
And doing LinkedIn promotions or LinkedIn posting all their information on their LinkedIn account, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's so much to it. I love it. But I think we're running out of time. So Karen, why don't you tell us where people can go to find you and get more information or hire you guys as their PR agency?
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for asking that. I am Karen Henry at The PR Boutique, and that's THE, not because there's PR Boutique and there's The PR Boutique. We are The PR Boutique, and it's just theprboutique.com, ePRboutique.com. And you can also reach us at our office, 713-599-1271.
And you're not going to get a better PR person than Karen Henry. I attest to that. The energy level
Thank you.
Is off the charts over there.
Oh, and you should see those young girls that work for me. They're awesome.
That's fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us today. Remember to subscribe to our podcast. And if you're looking to write a book, you know who to contact, Jen and I at Elite Online Publishing. And we will see you next time right here. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye.
Thank you, Melanie.
It's a great day to write a book. Bye.
Are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.